Hey guys, it's Sam here, and today we are going to be looking at every team, or the one player that I think every team in the Premier League should sign this summer. I have done the research, I've got it down on the paper, so we're just going to go through all 20 teams, and I'm going to pick one player that I believe each team should try and sign. There are a few like doubles or duplicates because I believe they fit multiple different clubs, so two teams have the same player. But obviously it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like obviously guaranteed. I don't even know if some of these are linked with these teams. It's just a player that I've decided I think that this team should sign because I think they'd fit. So starting off with Arsenal, I've gone with Alvaro Morata. With Arsenal, I think there are multiple positions they could strengthen in, but especially with today being announced that Alexandre Lacazette will leave, he's not signing a new deal. It looks as if Eddie Nketiah will, or has, I'm not too sure. But even so, you can't go into a season with one striker. That's just not going to work, especially with it just being Nketiah. They have been linked with Gabriel Jesus for like the last month and a bit, possibly longer. He would be a great signing as well, but I've gone with Morata just because I think there's just something about Morata that he just scores goals. He bagged goals. I think he scored for Spain yesterday against Portugal. He's played in England before. He played for Chelsea, and I think he was all right for Chelsea. I definitely think we didn't see the best of Morata. I think there's definitely things he could have done better, but with Arsenal not having Champions League football, that might be a bit of a struggle, especially if there are teams being linked with Morata that do have Champions League football. I think it's going to be hard for Arsenal to attract Morata, but I definitely think they should go in for him. Aston Villa, it was difficult to pick one for Villa. There was a few teams that was pretty difficult, but Villa was really tough because they've already signed 3 players this summer. The window's not even open yet, and they've signed 3 players. Coutinho on a permanent deal following a really successful loan. Starting to see a better Coutinho in the last 4 or 5 months, however long it's been, than we did his whole time in Barcelona. And probably even with his loan at Bayern as well. I don't think that was that great. I think he only really turned up when Bayern Munich smashed Bayern, was it 8-2? I think, and Coutinho scored twice. That was, there's probably a reason Bayern didn't go and try and sign him permanently, because I'm pretty sure that's the only game he actually did anything in. They also signed Diego Carlos and Kamara, so there are some good signings there for Aston Villa. Very good start for the window for Gerrard and for Villa. I've gone with another centre-back, and I've gone with Tarkowski. He's been relegated with Burnley. I think he's out of contract. So it would be a free transfer. And, you know, at the minute, obviously, Tyrone Mings is exceptional centre-back. Definitely, at the minute, Aston Villa's first choice. But partnering him, I think, is going to be where they need to look at. Obviously, they already got Diego Carlos, so I'm assuming Carlos and Mings would be the two centre-backs for Villa starting next season. But I think, you know, you can't really go wrong with Tarkowski, solid centre-back. And if it's on a free transfer, it's a win-win situation, really. You get cover at the centre-backs, and you didn't have to pay anything, you only have to pay his wages. Bournemouth, again, a tricky one, just come up from the Championship. The last time they were in the Premier League, they didn't really seem to spend until sort of, like, I think it was the season they actually ended up going down. They spent quite a bit. I think they spent 18 million on Dominic Solanke and 6 million for Brad Smith. Obviously, they both looked like they weren't going to work out I keep trying to say last season. This season, the season's just finished. Dominic Solanke obviously did very well. He gets another crack at the Premier League, but we have seen him not really do that well in the Premier League. So I could have picked a striker, but I've gone at centre back and I've gone with Nat Phillips. Obviously, it would hurt to lose Nat Phillips, but yeah, he's just not going to get in, is he? He only got in because all of our centre backs were injured. But he really, really played well, and then we loaned him out to Bournemouth last season, and he did very, very well for the second half of last season. And so I think they definitely should try and get him permanently. I think we want 15 million for him, which, with Bournemouth, I mean, they've come up, they'll have a bit of money. I can't see that not going well. He did really well for them whilst on loan, so if you get him in a permanent deal, I just don't see how it would go downhill, and he's proved himself that he can be a very, very good centre-back in the Premier League. And yeah, I just don't see it not going well. With Brentford, again, another tricky one, but I went with, I think, everyone's first choice for Brentford to sign, and that was Christian Eriksen. When he came to Brentford, I think either during the transfer window or just after it closed, he transformed Brentford. He was Brentford were already doing very well, but he just elevated Brentford to another level and saw them easily avoid relegation. And yeah, second consecutive season in the Premier League for Brentford. Not many people predicted that. Neither did I. I thought they would go down, but I thought they'd give it a bit of a better fight than the other two, and they did, and they ended up staying up quite easily. So yeah, Christian Eriksen, I think it's a no-brainer. Brighton, again, was a tricky one. I couldn't think of anyone for Brighton because I don't really know who Brighton go for. I don't know their transfer policy, and so I went with Ben Foster. Now, they don't really need a first choice keeper because they have that in their current goalkeeper. I believe his name is it Sanchez? I think it's Sanchez. But yeah, he was excellent for for Brighton. And I just think a backup keeper, Ben Foster is on a free, he's experienced, and you know, if Sanchez does have some tricky spells, if he's out of form, or if he gets injured or suspended, you have a very good backup keeper who is very, very prone to the Premier League and is still, in my opinion, a very good goalkeeper. It would be a very good backup to have. So that is why I've gone with Ben Foster. For Chelsea, again, could have been anywhere for me. I think the main one is up top, because Lukaku, it just didn't work. Timo Werner still is undecisive. He'll play well for about 2 or 3 games and then go on a 4-game bad run. So he's very, very hit and miss, Timo Werner. So I definitely think they needed a striker, but the one that I've gone with is Jules Koundé from Sevilla, because they have lost Rudiger. I think they're losing Christensen. I think they're losing Azpilicueta. I think they're also losing Marcos Alonso. They're losing a lot of defenders, so they definitely need defenders. I think they were kind of short in defence anyway. But yeah, I just think Jules Koundé is an excellent young centre-back and would just fit really nicely into Chelsea's back line. Crystal Palace have gone with a former Palace man in Wan-Bissaka. He's been told by United that he can leave, so I think, you know, why not go back to where he played? You know, he did pretty well for Palace. Definitely didn't warrant the move straight away to Man United, especially for, I think it was quite a bit. It might have been 40 million, 50. I actually can't remember how. Was it 50? I'm not. It might have been 50 actually, but I can't remember. But it was never that much, and you know, he hasn't really lived up to it. I think there was a small time where, I don't know if it was banter or they actually thought it, but Man United fans were saying that Wan-Bissaka was on par, if not better, than Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that's obviously proven to be extremely false. But I still think he's a very good right back. I think there are some Liverpool fans. I think there's quite a lot of Liverpool fans that actually say that he's shit. I don't think he's shit. I just think it just, for a lot of players, he just doesn't work at big teams. You think of Wilfried Zaha. You know, he does bits for Palace. But he moved to United. It just didn't work. You know, he was young, but it was just also not going to work out there. He went back to Palace and he's completely reignited his career again. And you know, he's been linked with more big moves, especially to Arsenal for the last few years. So I think that's what Wan-Bissaka needs. I think he needs to go back to a place where he knows. He's now under a new manager in Patrick Vieira, who I believe has done an incredible job and will continue to do a brilliant job. And I think he will flourish under Patrick Vieira, and definitely back at a place that he already knows the fans, knows the ground. There's still some players that are there the last time he was there, so you know, it wouldn't take him long to settle in at all. So I definitely think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka should, or at least Palace should go in for Wan-Bissaka. Next is Everton, and I've also gone with Wan-Bissaka for Everton. Simple is Seamus Coleman has passed it, in my opinion. You know, we saw it last season. Defensively, Everton were all over the place under Rafa, who has been known to be defensively solid. He got Newcastle not leaking many goals. He was defensively good at Liverpool. Defensively, he is great at that, and he just couldn't get it right with Everton. I think that was down to the defenders, and one of them being the Seamus Coleman. I think is in 32, 33, maybe. But even I just think his legs are gone. He wasn't that good. I mean, Everton weren't that good. Everton was shit this season, but definitely Seamus Coleman. There were times where you just thought if they had someone a bit younger and a bit quicker on the right hand side, they would probably catch up with some of the attackers running through, or would even help out a bit more attacking wise. Don't get me wrong, I think they should still keep Coleman because he's the captain, he's a leader, but I mean, there's a reason that Liverpool keep Milner on but don't play him that much. He's older, his legs aren't as good as they used to be, but he's a vital, important part of the squad, which I believe Coleman is for Everton as well. So you could keep him, but you don't have to play him a lot. And I think Wan-Bissaka is a young upgrade and would do very, very well at Everton. Fulham, I've gone with Nico Williams. Obvious, when he went on loan to them, was excellent. Really, really helped Fulham in their championship win. And yeah, you know, I think he's also another one that Liverpool will listen to offers for, and so why not? You know, he's been in there on loan, helped you get promoted, helped you win the championship, so you know, he's also had a few games in the Premier League, done pretty well, so yeah, in my opinion, Fulham definitely should try and get Nico Williams. For Leeds, I've gone with Tarkowski, same as Villa. You just can't go wrong with him. Leeds have done some good business so far. Brandon Harrison, young American attacking midfielder, is very good. If they lose Rafinha, they'd have to go in for a winger, I think. But if they're able to keep him, then that would definitely help Leeds next season. But I just think you saw how short they were at the back. You know, they just had a lot of injuries, and I think that really, really dealt massive blow to Leeds. And so I just think they should look to add more depth into their defence, and Tarkowski on a free, again, to me that's a no-brainer. Leicester was another tricky one because I didn't really know where Leicester needed to strengthen. I could have gone at centre-back, but I've gone with, I think, Sangari? Is it Sangari? Don't know how you pronounce his name. PSV's midfielder. He's been linked with United and Liverpool, so he must be good. If he's been linked with the two best teams of all time in England, and probably in Europe and the world as well. So he must be good. But I think Leicester definitely should at least try and go for him. Just add a bit more into the midfield. I think if they lose Tielemans or Ndidi, either like transfer wise, or they lose them through injury or suspension, I don't really think there's that great cover in midfield for Leicester. So I think they need another one, and that is why I've gone with him. Now my club, Liverpool. I could have picked a few, with Origi leaving, with Mane possibly leaving. I could have gone with an attacker, but I've gone with a midfielder, and I've gone with Barcelona's. Is it Gavi? I don't. He's Spanish, so I don't know if he's pronounced like Xavi, but it's not. It's not Xavi. It's not an X, is it? I'm gonna go with Gavi. To me, Gavi is a G. Javi. Who knows? But I'm going with him because he's young. I think he's 18, is he? He could even be younger than that, I don't know. But he's really young and he can only get better. He's already brilliant. To me, I think Jude Bellingham would be next summer. I just don't see a world in which Dortmund allow Haaland and Bellingham to leave in the same summer. That just doesn't seem like good business to me. And Dortmund have done quite well with that. Like, when they lose someone, they replace them like immediately, and it's like they just keep getting better. Like with Lewandowski went to Bayern, they got Aubameyang. They lost Aubameyang, they get Haaland. It might take them a little bit of time, but they replace these players, and with Haaland leaving, I don't see them selling Jude Bellingham in the same summer. The reports are that it would cost 80 million. I would take it, don't get me wrong, like I would take it, but I wanted to try and make it at least realistic to some degree, and so I've just gone with a player that I think could be done this summer. Considering Barcelona's financial problems, they need to get rid of players, and for me, that young lad is someone I think we definitely should go for. It fits, I think, what FSG and Liverpool are trying to do is to build for the future. We're not trying to buy established players. That's why we went and bought Fabio Carvalho. Why we're trying to buy Calvin Ramsey. He's looking at youth now and trying to build for the future, whilst looking at also maybe some established players. Like there were talk with Mbappe, but like, yeah, to me that's a no-brainer. Man City, again, where does City need to strengthen, really? I mean, it's just ridiculous. But with signing Haaland and their owner or chairman, whoever it was, coming out saying that they were going to spend more this summer and there would be more incomings, I've gone with Calvin Phillips. I don't know if this... I don't know if Leeds would... Obviously Leeds don't want to sell him, but it's not going to be easy, and Man City need to replace Fernandinho. They have one centre defensive midfielder right now, and that's Rodri. Fernandinho is going to be a massive loss to that dressing room and to City's squad as well. So another defensive midfielder. For me, it was either Declan Rice or Phillips. I've just put Phillips because I think he's going to be a cheaper option, and also I'm pretty sure West Ham have said that Declan Rice isn't going for any amount this summer, and I'm pretty sure Declan Rice has also said that he's going to stay, although he had no choice because West Ham weren't going to sell him. But yeah, I've gone with Calvin Phillips. Man United, I mean, look, Man United need everything. They need a whole reboot, and it looks like that's happening. Lingard, Pogba and Mata all announced that they're going, even though we knew they were going, but I guess it was just made official. They're going. Today I saw that Man United have said that Tuanzebe and Eric Bailey can go. Like, they're gonna need more centre backs because Harry Maguire's dog shite. So you either need to, one or two things: sell him or strip him of the armband, then sell him. But ultimately, he's not a Man United player. How he ever played for Man United, I don't know. How he ever cost £80 million, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going with Frankie de Jong. Again, the same reason. Barcelona need to free up some money. They're in financial difficulties again. I say again, it was still, they were just able to get a loan. I don't know how you can do when you're so incredibly in debt. You're still able to take out loans that doesn't even pay off the debt. Like, stupid. But yeah, Frankie de Jong, obviously with Erik ten Hag coming in, Dutch, the Dutch links. To me, it just fits, and he's a bloody brilliant midfielder as well. Newcastle, I've gone with Dean Henderson. Wanted the move in January, Man United blocked it. Now they're saying he can go, so yeah, they definitely need to get an upgrade on a backup in Carl Darlow, and I mean Dean Henderson could probably be first choice and Dubravka be second choice. But yeah, Dean Henderson definitely to me is a better option in that. Right, sorry about that. Hopefully she stops now. But yeah, Dean Henderson, to me, no-brainer, either loan or permanent. Probably permanent. Newcastle obviously have all the money in the world now, so they can buy realistically whoever they want. And to me, Dean Henderson is a very good upgrade in the goalkeeping positions. Nottingham Forest. To me, I did say it previously that they needed to strengthen in the last video, that they can celebrate, but they have to strengthen, they have to add quality. And I saw the link the other day, it might have been yesterday actually when I saw it, I can't remember, probably was yesterday, but Brozier, on loan at Southampton last season from Chelsea, there'll be another loan this season. Sure, Southampton would be quite desperate to get him back, but he fits the profile of what Forest go for. Forest are looking at young players, and I mean he did very well at Southampton, and he would definitely give Forest enough firepower up front to score goals. Brennan Johnson, Brozier, if they get Zinchenko back, then he would be a very good player. Otherwise, you could look at that position next. But like, he would get goals and he would definitely give them a good chance of staying up. Southampton, I've gone with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, the reports are that Liverpool are willing to let him go, and I believe he started his career there. Full circle, he's going back as a player that's won so many trophies at Arsenal and with Liverpool, and he would definitely help that. It would be a very good midfield to have Oxlade-Chamberlain, James Ward-Prowse in your midfield. Like, that is a very good midfield. They can score goals. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is an incredible player, but unfortunately, he's been very limited to game time this season, whether it was through injury or just the fact that we have so many midfielders that we could play. Someone's bound to get less game time, and it's unfortunate because he's a very good player, but with games they did play this season, there were times where, to be honest, he didn't really show anything. There's a reason Naby Keita got more minutes, because he started to show in more games than not what he can do and what he can bring, and unfortunately Oxlade-Chamberlain wasn't doing that. I'll be sad to see him go, like Nat Phillips, like Nico Williams. I'd be sad to see him go, but he needs game time. He's a very good midfielder, and yeah, I think Southampton would be a very, very good place for him to go. Whether he would want that, maybe he feels like he could still do a job at a bigger club, and maybe he still wants to play Champions League football. I'm sure he does, but depends on who's linked with him, who would go in for him. I definitely think Southampton should. Tottenham Hotspur, for me, Pau Torres. No doubt, great centre-back. Tottenham could strengthen in a few areas. I mean, some of the links I've seen, we've been linked with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son this summer. If Tottenham didn't get top 4, it's heavily thought, or heavily, what's the word, heavily noted, I guess, that we were going to put a big offer in for Son. But unfortunately, they got Champions League football, which I think means that it'll probably be a lot harder to try and get Son, and with them having Champions League football, they won't want to sell. It won't be easier to get rid of, or it won't be easier to sign, should I say, and because they have Champions League football. So I think we're just going away from that. And then the links with Harry Kane, honestly, I don't know where they came from. I don't know where they started. I don't know how they came from. No, it's not happening. You know, Man City were rejected several times last summer, and Tottenham wanted 200 million for him, and he wasn't even in Champions League football. Now they have Champions League football. Why on earth would they drop the asking price? Bonkers to me. I don't know how that's come about. But yeah, Pau Torres, great centre back. Definitely would improve Tottenham centre backs, or defence, should I say. Easy. West Ham, for me, Jesse Lingard. Be a free transfer. When he was on loan at West Ham, he did incredibly well. Was a big part in why they got Europa League football. Not quite got Europa League football for next season, but it's the European Conference League. They could have a real crack at that. They had a proper go with the Europa League and nearly got to the final. Was just cut short in the semis, but did very, very well. And yeah, the Conference League, I think they could have a real good chance of going all the way in that. And I think Jesse Lingard, it's free. Like, you know, it's free. So again, as I've said for a lot of these, no-brainer. And finally, Wolves. Now with Wolves, again, it was very tricky. I could have gone with a striker, could have gone in midfield, but I've gone with Max Aarons. Now, it's probably not the most thought of signing, but he's had 2 seasons in the Premier League now, Max Aarons. And, I mean, it's difficult when Norwich have gone down twice by finishing bottom twice and have been honestly quite awful in both of those Premier League campaigns to judge, especially the defenders. But to me, Max Aarons is young. I rate Max Aarons as a good Premier League player, and I just think that Wolves on that right hand side could do with a bit of work. And for me, Max Aarons, not saying he would be first choice right back at Wolves, but would definitely push and challenge. And, you know, if they need to replace right back and swap out and rotate, then they've got a very good right back, in my opinion, in Max Aarons to do so. So that is that. This has been longer than I thought it would be. But yeah, I just thought that I would do this. I might do one every year now, or at least every window maybe. But yeah, I can't wait. I think the window opens, I think I saw it June 10th. It's now June 3rd as I record this. So not too long until it's open. And it shuts September 1st, so it's open long enough for a lot of excitement. I think a lot will happen in this window. A lot of money to be spent. A lot of clubs will be desperate to do business, especially clubs like Man United and Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. I'm sure Real Madrid would love to add some more after their European win to try and retain that and to retain La Liga. So Dortmund will be trying to look at maybe a striker to replace Haaland. PSG, you know, they are going to need to do some things because clearly, again, it hasn't worked out for them in Europe. And, I mean, can they even spend any when they've given Mbappe 100 million, 300 million signing bonus, £1 million a week? He gets to choose the manager, he gets to choose who PSG sign. But what's the point in them having a president now? He is the president. Like, fuck the owner, fuck the president. Mbappe is PSG now. They fucked it. Like, it's unbelievable. How that was allowed, I don't know. Like, honestly, UEFA, football, you know, FIFA, you're shit, mate. Because I don't know how you've allowed that. It doesn't make any sense at all. But anyway, that is that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yesterday, you ran away. I did nothing to make you say you know that I should take the blame for my mistakes. I should have changed, that all I did was look the other way. And all this time I've been denying, and now you're gone, I'll let you slip away. And I've been hiding instead of fighting, and now you're gone, so tell me where to go. And I fall to pieces. Tell me who to turn to, and I stop believing. 'Cause I hear you fall in love. Guess it means that I'm not the one without you. Tell me